up and welcome back to my channel. I am the Masked Trans and you are watching me, baby. Now before we get today's video started, it is going to be a good one. I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps and a diabolical middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. Alright you guys. I interrupted my Saturday for this. I interrupted my whole Saturday to come and talk to y'all because could not wait. Could not wait. Would not wait. So if you've been watching my channel over the past couple of months or so, you will know that I have talked a lot, in the opinion of some, in excess about the incident at the Wii Spa, right? And when I first saw the video, right, and I saw Cubana Angel in the lobby going ham, because I don't know how else to describe it. When I saw Cubana Angel in that lobby going ham, I was like, oh, clearly this was a thing. Because sis is having a nuclear meltdown in this lobby. And then, after it happened, there were all sorts of questions that I had, right? And no one could answer the questions for me. Okay, so let's break down my questions. Question number one was, where did the person go? Where did they go? Did they just mosey out the lobby? I'm still not quite sure where the person went, but that was one of my questions. What was the other question I had? The other question that didn't make sense to me was, if the person who was in the lobby or in the women's space exposing themselves was trans, it didn't make sense for them to be exposing their nether regions. And that's me speaking as a trans woman. That part of the puzzle didn't make sense. Couldn't understand why the police couldn't find the person. It was just a whole lot of missing pieces to this puzzle. So the more I began to ask questions about it, the more I got sort of hate. Oh, you just say you hate women, or just dumb stuff, right? Because I'm asking questions, suddenly I'm hateful. Because I want to know. And I want to know not because I'm trying to defend the behavior, because if someone is out there behaving this way and this quote-unquote person is trans, it makes me look bad. And if you're out there making me look bad, then we got a problem. We got an issue. And I want you held accountable if you're out there making me look bad. So the more questions I asked, the fewer answers I got. And this past week, well, today actually, I logged into my YouTube and there were all of these responses. Oh, you ready to eat crow? Or I guess you feel stupid now, this, that, and the third, right? And so I'm like, what are these people talking about? What are they, because listen, I'm busy living life. Working on my businesses in the background. So I haven't really paid attention to much what's going on in the media as a whole. That's why you guys haven't gotten a whole lot of videos from me lately. So that caused me to go and just type in Wii Spa into Google. And the first thing that popped up was Darren Agee Merager. Darren Agee Merager. Let me put this picture up so you guys can see exactly who I'm talking about. So we finally have a face to put to the Wii Spa incident. And now I know some of you are probably saying, don't you feel dumb? Nope. Nope. Don't feel dumb. Because I'm still not even clear if this person is trans. I don't know how they identify. But what I do know is that this person is not just, if they are trans, long before they became trans and identified as a cisgendered man, had a history of predatory behavior. A history. Well documented. This is a sexual offender. This is not a trans person, right? This isn't the masked trans. Listen, when I walk into the locker room, baby, when all of this comes into the locker room, when all of this comes into the locker room, I'm not trying to see anything but how good I look. But how good I look. What I want to see a box for? Why? Right? And that didn't make sense to me that a trans woman would just be up in there, just it didn't make sense. And so now that I know, and again, I still don't know how the person identifies. So if I vacillate between calling Darren he or she, not trying to be disrespectful or misgendering, because even if this person is a sexual offender, I still want to give this person, this individual, the respect of acknowledging them for how they identify, right? I hate that they identify as trans if they do. I can't stand it, but we're just gonna have to take that, as as a chink in the armor, so to speak. Like, look, it is what it is, if it is what it is, if this person identifies. And that's also, I guess, one of the things that we have to figure out is there a trans, is there a cisgendered man masquerading as a trans person simply to gain access into women's spaces? Because that has been the nucleus of this argument that we've been having, right? Is having trans women in the spaces of cisgendered women going to put cisgendered women at risk of being assaulted or accosted in some way, shape, or form. And I will say that as a trans woman, hearing this story and having it validated makes me feel like we have to have a different conversation about this, right? We have to have a different conversation about this. And if you have been a frequent watcher of my videos, you will know that I have pretty much held true to saying that I don't feel that trans women should go into cisgender spaces being bulls in a china shop and simply saying, I'm trans, I belong here, and what? So what, you're uncomfortable? Oh well, get used to it. Because I don't think that that's fair. I think that as trans women, if we want to be invited and included in cisgender women, the spaces that have historically belonged to cisgender women, we have to be ready to hear the concerns of cisgender women and not just simply dilute whatever plight they may have or whatever feelings they may have and just simply say, look, whatever you feel is anecdotal. It's not really based in fact. It's based in fear. And so I just couldn't fathom something like the We Spot happening in real life, because it's not something I would ever do. It's not something I would ever do. But if this person is trans, the reality is it happened. It happened. And now as trans women, we have to be ready and prepared to have a whole other conversation. A whole other conversation. And I don't know what the answers to these questions are. These are some very, very difficult conversations to have, right? Because you can't have this up in the male locker room. Y'all ain't gonna have no husbands. I'm playing. Calm down. Calm down. But I'm just saying, you wouldn't want this all around your man. You don't want me jiggling and wiggling and, you know, bending over, putting on my leggings and, you know, jumping all into him in front. You don't want that. You don't want that. So some real conversations need to be had about what does inclusivity look like moving forward. What does inclusivity look like? Not just asking for trans women to be included or invited into those cisgender spaces, but what does inclusivity look like with trans women being receptive on the opposite end and hearing their concerns? Because it's not a one-sided street. It can't be all because we're trans, we get to have everything our way, and cisgender women don't have a right to feel safe in spaces that again have historically belonged to only cisgender women. The world is changing. The world is evolving. That is a fact. And evolution cannot be stopped. But I don't see cisgender women as my enemy. Never have, never will. Are there some ignorant cisgender women out there? Absolutely. But there's some ignorant trans women over here too. Some ignorant ones. And I just strongly feel like now that this has happened, in spite of my feelings about Cubana Angel, I'm going to put those feelings aside. Like, I still have my feelings about the propaganda that was on her page. I still think that she is transphobic and homophobic. That has not changed. That will not change. I don't like a lot of the language, the verbiage that she used while at the We Spy. But what cannot be denied is the veracity of what she was talking about now that we have a culprit. So, to Cubana Angel, let me say this. I'm sorry that I didn't wholeheartedly believe everything that you had to say. But I also need you to understand that trans women as a whole are not your enemy. I also need you to understand that there is a difference between a trans woman and a sexual predator. We're talking about deviancy versus gender identity. Two completely different things. Two completely different things. And I know a lot of people out there, right? See, let me say this before I close out this video. A lot of people have problems with the fact that quote-unquote trans women are not living in the bodies that they were born in, right? But these same people don't have a problem with all of these women out here running around with breast augmentation, Botox and Restylane and BBLs, because those are not the bodies they were born in. They're not the bodies that those cisgender women were born in. And just because trans women have augmented their bodies doesn't make them sexual deviants. Because if that's the case, then so too does it make cisgender women who have undergone cosmetic procedures. You have augmented your body as well. Augmentation is augmentation, and either it's wrong, or either it's right, or it's right. But you can't make it right for some and wrong for others. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. So I want to close this video out saying this. I am happy that we found this person, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The full extent of the law. Trans or not trans. Ain't nobody got time for that. No one has time for that. So if this person is the person, if this person did what is being alleged, then I stand with cisgender women. Take the keys and lock it up. Lock them up. Lock them up, baby. London Bridge of Illness. Take the keys and lock them up. Because what you did was not cool, was not okay. And if the person is not trans, again, it doesn't change the fact that we now have to have a conversation, a real conversation, because in my mind, it was unfathomable that anyone would be that desperate to have an experience. I don't even know how to articulate it. I just couldn't fathom a person doing something like that. And again, it has completely shifted conversations that need to be had, and I'm okay with admitting that. So I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. Leave your 2 cents underneath. And I'll be back to talk to you guys again soon if there's additional details that come out about this story. But in spite of what you may believe, I'm happy that we found the person. I'm elated. Over the moon and under the sun, baby. Over the moon and under the sun. So anyway, you guys, as always in closing, ask yourself this one poignant question. Why be better when you can be better? So let's be better together. I'm the Masked Trans. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Mwah. Bye-bye.